like NASCAR? Do you like a tribe called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Top of the Morning. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the interwebities. This is Abdul Ali. I'm joined by my twin brother Raheem, architect Soto. If you haven't done so already, please jump over to tuconservative.com. Get yourself a membership. That is tuconservative.com. Get yourself a membership. Help us continue the mission of spreading conservative values into urban communities across our lovely nation here. It is good to be in America this morning. It's good to be in the United States this morning. There goes the website, ladies and gentlemen. That Hamilton plant, still only $10 in the face of Biden inflation. That's a way we can keep the lights on and keep doing what we do here. You can also sponsor an episode, as you see there on the screen. Get yourself a mug, a hat, or a cap, or something like that to help us keep doing what we do. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're checking out Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. Rob, we're going to kind of jump right in this morning. A couple of things we're going to cover today. I know you had two stories you wanted to dig into for the folks this morning that may not be hitting the mainstream. What you got for us this morning, bro?
Well, I got to start the morning off first off with this one. Does anybody remember? I just search your memory banks, right? Search it, look inside your mind, go through your what's that called? The mental Rolodex, if you will, right? Do you understand what that is, Ali? Does anybody remember a time where if you didn't like something someone said, you just kind of ignored that? Yeah. Do you remember those golden times where people would say things and you just kind of be like, didn't like that. You didn't have a hissy fit, you didn't cry, you didn't report the page, you didn't go tell someone. I was just thinking about those days, Ali. There was a point in time where you didn't like something someone said, you just listened and didn't like it. But I just was reminiscing about those days this morning, and it's just unfortunate we've come to a time where everybody's so gosh darn sensitive, just overly sensitive. We do have some stories for the morning. I ain't gonna hold you up. We got some stories for the morning. I was a little nostalgic about that this morning. I just missed the days where people weren't so easily offended and upset and agitated. And what's the new word they have? Triggered.
Triggered.
I just miss those days. That's all. I don't know what that has to do with the
you know
morning
what
show.
I call that? You know what I call that? No, you know what I
Just a
call
thought.
that? I call that the all in the family syndrome. right? Like it's the All in the Family syndrome. We used to like that show. You couldn't make All in the Family today. You couldn't do that today. You couldn't do the Jeffersons today because people are so uptight.
Wait. So you saying you couldn't have an Archie Bunker today? You couldn't have
Oh my
a
gosh,
George Jefferson
no.
today? Why? What?
Not unless it was a spoof. Like if they were, you could spoof the jet, but you couldn't make that show seriously today with a
Get in the
character like
comment
art.
section and think
You
and let
couldn't
us
do
know
that.
if you think that can be made today. If that show can be made today. I have to share one other thing too, Ali, because
Hold on, real quick.
go
Before
ahead,
you do that,
go
just
ahead,
this
no,
has
go ahead.
nothing to do with what we're talking about tomorrow. But we are now in a world. Somebody sent me a picture earlier. He said we are now in a world where Roseanne Barr is hotter than Madonna.
Whoa. Whoa. I don't even know how to
Wow.
react to that. It's too early. I need more coffee. I don't know what you just said, but I don't like it. I don't like what you just said. I don't like that. All right, here's my I got a couple things I'm gonna cover this morning, Ali.
Let's go. Let's
If you
go.
guys head on over to our Instagram here, there's a couple things on our Instagram here. Uh here's one. Uh, read that for me, bro.
When you're
Just go
10
ahead, read it.
dangs, 20 years, 6. Oh, so you're like, dang. And then you're 20. Yeah, yeah.
All right,
And
hold
you're
on.
6.
Let's do
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna talk, and you're gonna hit me with 10 dangs, 20 years, 6 ICs,
All right, let's
for a
go. Let's
man
try.
that all right. So, because I think when they originally Donald Trump came down the escalator, he was a racist,
Yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
feel that way. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think people just don't understand how serious it is,
I
that we
see.
save all of the albino ant colonies. We need to save
Man,
all of the
man,
albino ants. And, these
that's
invisible
crazy.
yeah, that isn't that so crazy? So
I mean,
listen.
dang.
Also, yeah, see, if I already
when
feel
you're
like
when
you're
you're
not
10 of those in, 20 of those, because
right,
that's
try
like,
it to me. See how it feels to you. Go ahead,
all
do it
right.
to me. I'm gonna do it back to you. See how
So,
it feels.
as I was telling you, man, I think that we've got to reduce that tax rate, and we've got to reduce it in such a way that doesn't allow
Yeah.
for people to be able to take advantage of the loopholes. You know what I mean? Like those
Yeah,
loopholes are so
yeah.
important, right? Like,
Yeah,
and
I
those are
see.
so
I see.
crazy that the man didn't even want to come down. You know what I'm saying? Like he
That's
didn't want to come down.
crazy. Yo, that's so
Yeah, so,
crazy.
I
Dang.
and I was telling you before when they yo, yeah, after you're a
Dang.
few of those in, you gotta kinda
Yo, don't it feel like
lazy.
I'm trying to get you to stop talking?
It does, it does, it does,
Alright, I
it
had to
does.
share that one. And I don't know this young lady's name, right? This is not listen, this is not ours. We didn't make the video. We just laughed at it. I have to share this one, Ali. This one right here. I have to share
Mhm.
it. Is
What
there
is
any
this?
audio for this? Oh, I can't get the audio. Here's the audio.
Get the fuck out of that White House. It's time for you to go. Joseph, you a motherfucking bitch. You got in that office and you motherfucking switched. The people should have never chose your ass. You trying to kill the world with all the motherfucking gas? Animals is crying, Mother Earth dying. You don't give a fuck because your ass gonna be lying down in that grave because you old as shit. Alaska's supposed to be cold and shit. Y'all gonna melt that ice. That's not nice. Take my advice and get your ass out of that White House. It's time to go. We did it, Joe. No, the fuck you didn't. And take Kamala with you, too. Both of y'all asses grass. If she rocking with you, I'm on her ass. I ain't fucking playing. Global warming real is what the fuck I'm saying. They're trying to drill oil for some motherfucking money. But if we all dead, who the fuck gonna spend the money, dummy? You tell me that. Since you got your fancy political degree, you know every motherfucking thing. Who gonna spend the money if y'all kill all of us and y'all kill all of the fucking animals? What we gonna eat if we ain't got no meat? Well, those ain't the animals that we eat, but they still don't deserve to motherfucking die. All the politicians are trying to take us out because they old and they got... I got beef with you, Joe. Get the fuck out of that White House. It's time
Yo,
for you to
she
go.
certainly 1,000,000%, 10,000% has beef. She is
Look
the
at
comments are
these
great. She
comments. Oh,
big
she
mad.
big mad.
The
Shouts out to the
internet has
sis Megan
zero chill right
McGlover.
now. Shouts out to
Yeah.
Megan
Yo, I
McGlover.
had to share
Yeah.
that one. And
Oh,
the story that I was gonna get into was this one.
okay. I saw that on our Instagram and I couldn't believe that that's real. I don't think that's real. Tell me that that's not real. Just if you're not watching and you're just listening, as we have many people who do, the story he has up on the screen, alleged serial, I can't even read it. Alleged serial pooper defecates in aisle near Chelsea and Hillary Clinton. Near Chelsea
All right,
and
all right, all
Hillary
right. Let me
Clinton
ask
at
y'all
New
this.
York.
Let me ask you this. For those listening and watching, what do you do if you in a theater? What do you, what do you do if you in a theater with your significant other? You're sitting there, you got your hand in the popcorn, you eat the popcorn, you watch the movie, and you be like, "Yo, baby, you smell that?"
Hold on, no. You're eating your popcorn and you're like,
Yo, baby, you smell that? Yo, that smell like doo doo. It smell like somebody doo doo. Don't you just get up and walk out?
you have to. You have no choice. You
Like, what do
have no
y'all do
choice.
if you like?
Is
What?
this person okay?
But what do you
there is,
mean by
ladies and
serial pooper, though? Is what I need to
I was
understand.
about to say, because the words, my brother and I are acutely aware of when we hear a
Do they mean
series of
serial
words.
pooper like CEO? Did they misspell that?
No, but bro, we are acutely aware of when we hear a sequence of words for the first time. And this is my first time ever seeing that sequence of words. Alleged serial pooper have never been a series of words.
Can you, for the folks, read what the screen says, please?
Over the past few months, we've been introduced to a phrase we thought we'd never hear, the, in quotation marks, serial pooper, which refers to someone who continually poops in public, leaving the fruits of their labor on display for all to see. I can't. All right, I'm done with the dog. All right. What does
Here's
this have
why
to?
serial poopers.
Uh,
Okay, over the past few months, in September, it was the mad pooper who went out for her morning jogs, her morning runs, if you will, defecated in front yards, on
Great
sidewalks,
double
and even in
entendre on
front of a
behalf of the writer
drugstore.
there. Great
Who recently,
entendre work
Southern
on behalf of the
Illinois.
writer.
Yes, absolutely. In September, it was the mad pooper who went out for her morning jogs, her morning quote unquote runs, if you will, defecating in front yards, on
Oh
sidewalks, and even in.
yeah. Wait.
Hold up.
I'm
More recently, Southern Illinois University reported a bowel movement bandit who
who
pooped
pooped in a
in
dorm,
dorm
washing
washing
machines.
machines.
Not once or twice, but 8 times. Not in empty machines either.
I might
He
get in
was dumping.
trouble for what I'm about to say. I'm not even gonna say it. Not in empty machines either. The
Yeah.
pooper was dumping into clothes that had already been through the wash cycle. Yeah, I grew up in a different generation.
Yeah, we don't play
These
like that.
kids now, like
Ye
you see
Yeah,
the farm joke. I'm gonna pick up the horse manure and I'm gonna throw it in your face, Billy. I didn't never,
nah,
I understand that's farm humor. Like you guys grew
right.
up there. That's what y'all did. We from the city. I'm from, what are you gonna do? Pick up squirrel crap and throw it? Like, what are you?
Right.
Whose
Well, and look,
idea is it to play with fecal
this
matter?
point right here. I think this sums it up right here. This sums it up right here.
Please sum
Brother
it up.
Frank's comment, that person needs to go to jail. Regardless of political party, that is just disgusting and disrespectful. And yes to Mrs. Clinton, but to anybody,
Yeah, notice we didn't go with that from Brother Frank. We didn't enter nothing other than that's disgusting into the equation, because it don't matter if you a Republican serial pooper, an independent serial pooper, a unaffiliated serial pooper. Oh, I'm a libertarian serial pooper. I have the right to poop wherever I. No, sir, you don't. You don't. This is a civilized society.
yeah.
We have a contract amongst each other that, hey, sometimes we
Hey,
gonna hold the door. Sometimes it's some unspoken rules to society, and not shitting
right.
in public is like, thou shalt not shit in public is like the public commandment. We all know this. Like, you ain't even got to teach
We've
nobody this.
gone so far as to provide public restrooms that we understand that we'll call it a social contract between human beings, and we just not gonna do that. So that
It's
is
not like you
disgusting.
in.
It's disgusting.
But here's the issue. I don't understand, right? Because there has to be something psychologically up with a person who will go into a laundromat, lower your trousers, undo your trousers,
All right, yo, Ross,
place
stop. I have a question for you. How long does it take to poop in a laundromat? And why wasn't nobody in this laundromat? Like, who just leaves their clothes?
Great question.
What?
Great question.
I'm confused. There's so many levels of confusion that I have about this right now.
All right, being my 40-year-old self, I'm gonna go back to my 20-year-old self for a moment. All right. So for those of you who who want to use this against me, I'm going to preface this again. I'm not talking from me now. I'm talking about my 20-year-old self. I go into the laundromat. I go to do my laundry.
Uh-huh.
There's a man with his
Uh-huh.
ass in the machine.
What
How do
proceeds
you
to
think
occur at this
20
point?
how do you think that goes with 20-year-old me, bro?
Yeah, somebody's getting beat up or attempted
Not
to
in.
get beat up.
So one of us is gonna cops is coming. Cause bro,
Furniture's
wait,
moving.
wait. First of all,
There's
what's the
some
chances
rumbling.
that there's hold on, but what for you to poop, don't you gotta take your pants down?
You do.
Somewhat? So the serial poopers in there with the former first lady, right? With all no matter how much we like what she's done or what she hadn't done, whatever the case may be, that's still the former first lady and the first daughter, or however that, whatever she is, whatever that is.
Yeah, and she's a former
How
senator, I think. Yeah,
these
wasn't she?
people
I think,
need to be
yeah.
respected, regardless of how you feel about them. That is the most disrespectful, disgusting, nasty thing you can do in public. It's just gross. I'm sorry I brought it up because now we're not talking about the other thing, but it was on our
All right.
Instagram and I
Well,
had to do
no,
it,
no,
bro.
no. What we're gonna do right now, then, we're gonna take a very, very quick commercial break here on Top of the Morning. We're gonna come back and talk about some serious stuff. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Be right back. Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Top of the Morning. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the interwebity. This is Abdul Ali. I'm kicking it with my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, TUC Twins in the building. We appreciate you being with us this morning. Hope you're having a great day so far. We've got something else we need to talk to y'all about, and that is going on right here in the great state of North Carolina. We have a state general assembly that is control of Republican hands. We one short of a veto-proof majority, but we do have control of the House and Senate here in North Carolina. And just yesterday, the North Carolina House passed a bill that is going to basically cut CRT off at the pass. This House bill passes a CRT bill, and Democrats are warning of the chilling effects on teachers. Now, this, according to a story by the News and Observer, North Carolina House Republicans approved new rules on Wednesday, limiting how racism and sexism can be taught, but fell short of gaining any Democratic support to guarantee a veto override. The 68-49 vote went along party lines, with all Republicans in support and all Democrats in opposition. Republicans would need at least one Democrat should Democratic Governor Roy Cooper veto the bill again, as he did in 2021. GOP lawmakers say the bill is designed to prevent schools from promoting critical race theory. House Bill 187 has provisions such as one saying teachers shall not promote that anyone, listen to this carefully, y'all, that anyone should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any form of psychological distress based on their race or sex. So we now have to tell teachers, we have to write into law that teachers should not be telling black kids they should feel bad because their ancestors may have been gone through slavery, and they should be not telling young white kids that they should feel guilty because their potential ancestors owned slaves. So
Mm.
this whole idea of white guilt and black victimization should not be coming from teachers. Now, we talked about this yesterday, bro. I feel bad that we got to make a law about things that are common sense. So again, this
Mm.
House bill has provisions saying teachers should not promote that anyone should feel discomfort, guilt, or anguish, or any other form of psychological distress based on their race or sex. Now, Representative John Torbett said this bill does not change what history standards can and cannot be taught. Fact amundo, it simply prohibits schools from endorsing discriminatory concepts. But Democratic lawmakers argue the bill is so vaguely worded that teachers will censor what they say to stay out of potential trouble. This is from Rep. Laura Budd, a Mecklenburg County Democrat. She said the bill on its face is the obvious attempt to micromanage from the General Assembly into the classrooms. It's overreach. It will have a chilling effect on teachers and educators in curtailing what they think they're allowed to teach, as well as how they teach. The legislation now goes to the GOP-controlled Senate, where it's expected to easily pass. A bill with nearly identical language passed the House and Senate in 21, and Cooper vetoed that bill. He said it pushes calculated, conspiracy-laden politics into public education. So real quick, let's talk a little bit about it. It's called the Equality in Education Bill, House Bill 187. It says public schools can't promote concepts such as the idea that one race or sex is inherently superior to another race or sex, and that an individual, solely by virtue of his or her race or sex, is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive. What's wrong with that, people?
Mm.
Somebody help me, and I don't know what's wrong with that. We should not
I
be
don't
teaching
either.
our
I'm
children
confused by
that
that.
because you're black, you're a victim, because you're white, you're an oppressor. I thought
Yeah,
that
but
was common sense.
hold on. In all fairness, I talk to grown men, and respectfully, Ali, this has been ingrained into people. Like you don't even
Sure.
have to teach it at this point. Like you got grown men who I've asked this very direct question to. So are you telling me that right now in 20, and I'm talking about in the last week, I've asked this question to a grown adult male, happened to be a black male. So you're telling me in 2023, I'm a victim of white supremacy? Yes, brother. And my other question was, well, are you willing to be wrong about that subscription? Like, is your mind open to the fact that that narrative is incorrect? No, brother. All right, that's the end of that conversation.
Wow. So check this out. The bill would also stop teachers from promoting the concept of white privilege or that white people have unfair advantages over others solely due to their race. The bill says teachers can't promote that privileges should be ascribed to a race or sex. Now, I'm going to stop right here because this whole idea of white privilege in a state where we have an African American lieutenant governor, we have African American on the Supreme Court. We have African American mayors. We have African Americans in the legislature and Hispanics and Asians all over the place. We've got, some of the biggest companies in North Carolina are led by African Americans. I can't think of how many millionaires are on the NFL teams we got here. I can't think of how many, millionaires are on the basketball teams that we have here. This
Mm,
idea white privilege is absolutely nuts in a country where we have simple examples of black people who made it. Ketanji Jackson, I don't have to agree with her. We have two African Americans on the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
but
We have
America's racist. It's racist. I'm
back to
telling
back
you.
black secretaries of state, back to back black, what do you call them? Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This whole idea of white privilege is absolutely nuts when you do a little bit of research. Now, other items in the bill as we get on the tail end, other items in the bill that teachers can't promote include an individual solely by virtue of his or her race or sex bears responsibility for actions committed in the past by other members of the same race or sex. Why is that? Why? I'm not even going to go. A meritocracy is inherently racist or sexist. Whoa, because now they're teaching people, and I've heard this said. They remember, you ever heard this one where they say things like, you're black, you got to work 10 times as hard as the white guy. You
Mm,
ever heard that one?
I have. And you know
Man.
what? You know what that makes me want to do, Ali? You know what that makes me want
Hmm.
to do?
Hmm.
I'm gonna show something. I got to on the way on the tail end of this, right? For this last 6 minutes. Um, where's our video? Where's Here we go. All right. I think we should end off on this note addressing this. But go ahead, finish up because I got something we need to end on, bro.
All right. So check this out. This bill also says the United States was created by members of a particular race or sex for the purpose of oppressing members of another race or sex. And that's going to deal with this idea of teaching that the United States was founded on the principle of oppressing the black man. That's not why this country was founded. That's just not it. There's also, it says this here. John Torbett had another quote, and we're going to close out on this. At the end of the day, we should all be able to agree that no student, no teacher, no parent, no school employee, no one should ever be made to feel inferior solely because of the color of their skin, their gender, their national origin, race, religion, disability, or familial status, especially in our schools when learning for young Learning for our young people should be fun and exciting. The lone Republican to speak for the bill was John Torbett. Now, the legislation does not include the phrase critical race theory. Okay, I just want doesn't say that, and would also require schools to post online ahead of time whenever schools provide instruction related to the prohibited concepts. They also have to list when they hire speakers, consultants, or diversity trainers who discuss those concepts or have previously advocated for those concepts. Now, one thing we saw, and we saw this in New York, and this applies across the country, is we saw somebody who was what was that guy's position, Rod? The dean of curriculum, right? He was the dean of the curriculum. These people have an agenda. We're not going to pretend that there's no agenda from the left in education. We're not saying that all teachers are part of that agenda or everybody who works in the education system is a part of that agenda, but it's become painfully obvious that there is an agenda to indoctrinate and to get people to think a certain way. You know, we talk to people all the time whose job it is to create narratives. That's what the urban and urban conservatives stand for. We're trying to understand reality beyond all narratives. Because when somebody's got a narrative, they're usually trying to steer you away from the truth. The truth doesn't require a narrative. But yeah, bro, what were you gonna say on the tail end? Because we only got
I gotta play this clip, but I like Brother Frank's question. How many black owners do we have that are black owned teams in the NFL? Yo, I put respectfully, we talking about balls. We talking about a game. We talking about that's sports. What measure of how many there are two non-white NFL owners, one Indian, one Hispanic. Um, what does that mean? Because there's no black NFL owners. That is not a good example of racism that there are no black NFL owners. There are also no black NHL owners. Like there are no black, I can think of a bunch of things that there are no black of. That doesn't imply that it's some type of racist structure stopping the black man from getting in there. I'd love to talk more about that, but Ali, I'm gonna drop this on the tail end of this. Thanks again for tuning in to the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. To button up what Ali was saying, I need y'all to hear this.
She said, through no fault of their own, attended schools where they could not have acquired the skills necessary to do well on such tests. So she's trying to redress the inequalities, and therefore she would simply not require such tests. The Educational Testing Service is currently engaging in a renorming of test scores to take into account the social backgrounds and handicaps of the students so that the score will then, again, redress pre-existing inequalities rather than applying the same standards to everybody. Whenever I hear notions of fairness in education, I think back to my own education. And I think, thank God, my teachers were unfair to me when I was a kid growing up in Harlem.
Did you catch that? Ali,
Yeah.
did you catch that?
I caught it.
He said, thank God my teachers were unfair to me.
One of these teachers was a lady named Miss Simon, who belonged to what might be called the General Patton School of Education. I cannot even imagine that Miss Simon gave a moment's thought to my self-esteem. Every word that we misspelled in her class had to be written 50 times, not in class, but as part of our homework.
Do they do that anymore? No.
And there was always plenty of other homework from her and other teachers. And so you misspelled 4 or 5 words and you had quite an evening ahead of you. Very little chance of listening to the Lone Ranger. There was nothing that Miss Simon or anybody else could do about the fact that we came from homes where we did not have books and magazines, and we were not as familiar with those words as people from other neighborhoods might have been. So that was never an option. Nothing that schools could have done would have changed that. It would have been an irresponsible self-indulgence for them to have pretended to make things fair. If there's anything worse than unfairness, it is make-believe fairness.
All right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let y'all go.
Top of the morning.
Yes, sir.
Have a good